Today I'm going to talk about Holy Thursday, one of the most complicated masses in the Catholic Church, aside from the Easter Vigil itself. So here you see a picture that I'm sure you're all familiar with by a famous person named Leonardo da Vinci. This is a picture of Christ's Last Supper, which he held before he died. During this Last Supper, Christ did several very important things. The first thing is that he instituted the Eucharist. The Eucharist is Christ's body and blood coming to us in the form of bread and wine, and Christ consecrates his body and blood and gives it to his disciples. Now, his disciples, he gives the power to consecrate the Eucharist going forward and to spread it throughout the world. And in doing so, he establishes his priesthood on earth. In fact, within the Catholic Church, every priest can trace their own apostolic lineage back to these original priests that Christ instituted right here at the Last Supper. So basically what this means is that every priest was consecrated by another priest or bishop, which was consecrated by another priest or bishop, going all the way back to this Last Supper, with Christ as the head priest and the original priest. Important to remember also is that since this day commemorates the priesthood, it's a very important day for priests, and they often will attend a special mass held by the bishop, oftentimes in a cathedral in that diocese, to accommodate as many people as want to go. During this Chrism Mass, as we call it, a special mass for that day, the bishop will consecrate, or rather he will bless, the oil of chrism, which is used for baptism and confirmation that year. This is a very holy oil that imparts a special marker character upon those whom it is used upon. And so it's only fitting for it to be blessed on this most holy day, on Holy Thursday. So in addition to these things, Christ also did something very important. And in doing so, he taught his disciples a very important lesson. He washed their feet. So his disciples were not really sure of what he was doing when he started to do this, but they learned from him the importance of humility and serving others, even when it means debasing ourselves. And so he showed them how to truly love one another and how to truly serve one another by washing their feet. So in addition, Holy Thursday is extremely important because it is the beginning of the Easter Triduum. The Easter Triduum is comprised of Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday. And Holy Thursday is the start of this, and in order for us to be able to receive communion on Good Friday, the priest will typically consecrate enough Eucharistic hosts to last us through Friday, since Christ dies on Friday, so it's not fitting to hold a Mass on that day. Now, where did Holy Thursday originally come from, or rather the Last Supper originally come from? Christ originally held the Last Supper at a Passover Seder. So this is still something that is done in the Jewish tradition, which coincides with our Holy Thursday, and it commemorates Israel's liberation from Egypt, which is typically held in the evening. So that is why Holy Thursday Masses typically are also held in the evening at Catholic churches, in commemoration of this Passover Seder held in the Jewish tradition. Now, after the Holy Thursday Mass, the Eucharist is sent down to what we call an altar of repose. This is an altar that's available preferably in another part of a church. Depending on the structure of the church, oftentimes the altar of repose is situated in the basement or in a different room or a different part of the church aside from the main parish. The Eucharistic host is entombed, we call it, in this other altar. Because Christ dies on Good Friday, so it makes sense for his host to be held in a separate tomb while we await his resurrection. In addition, since Holy Thursday represents the institution of the Eucharist, many Catholics will also go to what we call Eucharistic adoration. This is simply venerating our Lord in the Blessed Sacrament, in the Eucharist, which at this point is held in the altar of repose. And so it is a very good tradition in the Catholic Church to practice Eucharistic adoration year-round, but most especially on Holy Thursday, when we commemorate the initial institution of the Eucharist. So again, after Holy Thursday, there are no more Masses until Christ rises again in Easter Vigil.